It always seems like the same thing. The family leaves, you have all of these leftovers. How can you repurpose them into another delicious meal? Well, coming up right now on Cooking with Chef Bryan, I'm going to show you how to put together the most amazing and delicious barbecue chicken pizza you've ever had. Coming up right now. Welcome everybody to Cooking with Chef Bryan. I'm going to show you how to put together a delicious barbecue chicken pizza. Now this is one of those things that I decided to do because you have the guests leave for the summer or the weekend or an evening dinner, and you have all this leftover chicken. So that's exactly what's happened to me. I have all this leftover chicken that I decided I'm going to shred up and make it into a delicious barbecue chicken pizza. It's really easy to do, but I'm going to show you the basics of how to put it all together, starting right from the dough, because the dough is kind of important when it comes to pizza. And when I show you how easy it is, I don't think you're going to want to go out and buy one. Maybe it's a little more convenient, but this certainly is right up there at the top of my chart of easy and convenient. So I'm starting off with some flour. Now this is a bread flour. Bread flours, if you buy them in the store, you'll find like a cake flour, a pastry flour, an all-purpose flour, bread flours. And what that means is protein levels. Everyone has a different protein level. So from a cake flour has a very low end of protein because protein is what makes things chewy and tough, so to speak. So you don't want a cake to be like that, so it's going to have a really low protein level. Whereas way up on the bread flour spectrum, you're going to have a lot of protein in there because we like breads that are chewy and nice and delicious. And so I'm using a bread flour. You can use an all-purpose flour as well. You'll be perfectly fine with this. But I have a bread flour in here. I also have some salt, sugar, and instant yeast. What is instant yeast? Instant yeast is the type of yeast that you use in a bread machine, but it's the type of yeast that you can add directly to dry ingredients just like this and into the mixer. It does not have to be dissolved in water first. Now, active, like a Fleischmann's active dry yeast, that one has to be dissolved in water, and so that's important because putting in dry ingredients like this won't activate it. You'll just have these little lumps of yeast in the finished bread. Perhaps some of you have had that happen before. So remember, if it's not an instant yeast or a bread machine yeast, you must dissolve it in water to activate it, to get it going. So this is an instant yeast, and so it's perfectly fine to add into our dry ingredients. And the first time I saw this was when I got a bread machine from my mom 100 years ago. And it had a little container at the top you'd put the yeast into, and it would just drop into there automatically and make the bread. And so I thought that was kind of cool, but that's when I really started learning about what instant yeast really meant. So that's kind of a quick lesson on instant yeast. I hope it helps some of you out there. I do have get a lot of questions about that, so hopefully that will help you. Now here I have water and olive oil already put together, and so it's ready to go, and it's going to go into our mixing machine. And now I am using an extra virgin olive oil because I want that extra pungent flavor. Now all olive oils are not created the same either. You have from an extra virgin to a virgin olive oil, kind of ironic the words for it, and then just regular olive oil on that. And so what that means is an extra virgin olive oil, such as this one, is the first pressing from the olives. And so when they put those olives in the vat, they press down, the first oil that comes out is the extra virgin olive oil. And so it just kind of goes from there. So the third or fourth pressing may be the virgin olive oil, and then after that it's just the regular olive oil. And so that's what all of that means. And so there's so many words in cooking, right? So many crazy things. So I've already created up this recipe here. I'm going to put that into the mixer here and then just add that on. Now I may get some questions about what the bowl is. This is the stainless steel bowl. It's a Bosch mixer. This is specific to making bread, this particular bowl. And so that's all that is. If you have a Bosch machine, you can get that. And it's very simple. It doesn't have that center post in it, so you could actually make more loaves of bread in here or larger batches of dough in there. And so that's why I like it. I think it's really nice. Now, that I'll get mixed up here in a minute. I've made some in advance, but what I want to do is to get started on our barbecue sauce. Now the barbecue sauce is really unique. It's kind of a warm, kind of a tender story for me because When my grandmother was alive during the summer, we would sit out on the patio, and then one particular patio was during the rodeo time up in Preston, Idaho, where I'm from. So hello to all of my Prestonians up there. Oh, this most delicious aroma of barbecue started wafting over just through the air, and it smelled so good. And as a chef, I was intrigued by this, and so I kind of found it and wandered over to my neighbor's house, and lo and behold, you know, my neighbor at the time, Jody Crockett, she's probably going to be so sick and tired of me telling you this story, but I just think it's a fun story. She showed me how to put together this barbecue sauce that it'll knock your socks off. It certainly did mine at that point because it's just so easy and delicious. Now, starting off with here, I'm going to make kind of a pseudo caramel. So I have sugar in here, I have some water, I have some corn syrup in here, I have some butter in here, and I'm going to bring this up to a boil and take it basically to a softball stage. And so I'll get to work on this and keep that going here. Let's get that turned on so that we can get that going, and it's going to be seriously amazing because this barbecue sauce starts with a caramel base. And of course, caramel makes everything better. So I'll keep working on this. When we come back, we'll continue on with the barbecue sauce and our chicken barbecue pizza. Are you looking for some delicious side dishes for dinner? Well, why not try Green Giant Fresh Minute Mashes? They're simple, they come in 3 different flavors for your dinner, and all you have to do is put them in the microwave, 7 minutes, pop them out, smash them in the bag, and serve them. It doesn't get any simpler than that. Well, welcome back everybody. Let's turn that off here. I've kneaded up that dough so it's ready to go. Our caramel here basically has started to come up to a boil here, and it's looking delicious. And what I'm going to start on now is just slicing up some onion to put into it, as well as some garlic. And so I have some that I've already started to slice up there. Let's just kind of, and you can chop up the onion, you can slice it, you can really do whatever you want. And so I like to put the onion in here just about before it gets to a softball stage, so that that sugar in there and the onion and everything can really come together and just have an amazing flavor to it. I'm also going to take some garlic and put in there. And you know, I've told you before, I use garlic in a jar. You can use fresh garlic if you want to, or garlic if you want to. And I use it as well. It's just that this is what I have in the kitchen, so I'm going to use this. You know, a good old spoonful of garlic's going to go into there because, I love garlic, right? So let's just kind of get that all mixed together. And I think the reason why this is such a great idea is because you can buy really inexpensive barbecue sauces and use, because that's the next step. You use a prepared barbecue sauce and add it into there, because that's going to be all the flavor. Rather than having to create up a barbecue sauce, you've already got a barbecue sauce, and you're just going to add it now into the caramel that's beginning. So I will cook that just until it pulls together and I start to see it turn just a little brown around the edges. And so that tells me it's getting to that caramel point, and that's good. So this is thickening up nicely now, and it smells, I really wish you could smell this. When you make it at home, you'll be able to smell it. You're going to smell that garlic, the onion, the butter, the sugar, you know, cooking in there. If you've ever made holiday candy, well, this is kind of what it smells like to me. It's just that yummy aroma of sweetness and butter, but yet has the savory aroma of onions and garlic. Oh, delicious. So that's almost ready now to add in my prepared barbecue sauce. Now I'm going to head over to the steam oven here. I've had the pizza dough that I made earlier proofing in here, and it is ready to go now. So we'll just pull that out and put that onto the counter here, so you can see it's doubled in size. It's looking great here. Ooh, I'm getting hungry in the kitchen here. Ooh, and that is looking so good. So the sauce that I'm using, I just buy them at Costco, but if I'm at Smith's or one of the local grocery stores, I'll just buy one that's on sale and then just put it in my food storage and have it, because it really doesn't matter what type of barbecue sauce I buy. This technique, so to speak, makes it amazing. You're gonna love it. So now I'm just going to add this right into it. And squeeze the rest of that. There we go. Get it all in there. Now, if Grandma were here, she would pop that top off, put a little bit of water in there and shake that around. And so, you know, what am I going to do? Well, that exact same thing. I'm going to put a little water in there because you never know. Grandma might be watching from above. You just never know. She'll come down and haunt me and say, you wasted all that barbecue sauce. So let's just go ahead and get that mixed up so we can get that into there. Add that into there. Turn down the heat so it's not so high anymore. There we go. Waste not, want not, right? Okay. I'll just put this over here in the sink so that it's out of the way for now. I'll just mix this up so it all comes together. Wow, that smells delicious. Now, if you were going to use this on like barbecue chicken at this point, you could dip the cooked chicken in here. Never dip raw chicken into there because then you'd have to throw it all away. It always needs to be cooked. Or if you have a brisket that you want some barbecue sauce on, here's your barbecue sauce here, and it's ready to go. Now, I made some barbecue sauce earlier, and I wanted to show you what it looks like when it is cooled off. And it does thicken up, just like, you know, a caramel or a syrup, or however you want to think about it. So this is the barbecue sauce, and as I can lift that up, you can see it's nice and thick. And this is a great caramel or barbecue sauce for coating like chicken and things like that. So it's pretty darn good. All right, so we're almost ready here to start assembling this delicious barbecue chicken pizza. I think the first time I had a barbecue chicken pizza, it's been several years ago, but it was at a little pizzeria up in Cache Valley. And I thought, well, this sounds really weird. Barbecue chicken, I don't know if I'm gonna like that. And I tried it and the rest is history. It is amazing. So easy to make the dough, easy to make the barbecue sauce there. Use leftover chicken. The way the chicken was prepared, I simply just boiled it, poached it in this, or you can use leftover grilled chicken or sauteed chicken, shred it up and put it into there and get it ready to go. And so that's how we're gonna do that. The sauce is all ready here. I just want it to come up to a boil for a minute to make sure everything is combined. I'm going to get the cutting board out of the way here. I'm going to flour out my work surface. When we come back, we're going to be putting this pizza together, and I can't wait to show you. Don't go away. You can find all of these complete recipes on my website, cookingwithchefbryan.com.
It's no secret, frozen rolls are fresher than bakery rolls. You see, bakery rolls are made in commercial bakeries. Then they sit all day in stores. Some even contain preservatives because rolls begin to stale immediately. By the time you eat your roll, it could already be days old. Rhodes Bake and Serve is found in your grocer's freezer. Simply take Rhodes frozen roll dough home and let it thaw and rise in a pan. Bake Rhodes rolls in your own oven. Rhodes Bake and Serve, hot and fresh, right out of your oven.
Welcome back, everybody, to Cooking with Chef Bryan. Put the apron on. I'm ready to work with some flour here, and I'm rolling out the dough. So this recipe will make about 2 pizzas. And that, of course, is depending on however large you want to make them or small. Sometimes you can get 4 if you want to make little mini ones out of there. So I'm just going to roll these out into a round, as best I can, shape. And once again, this is just my rendition of a barbecue chicken pizza, and it is really good to me, and so I'm going to keep that as round as I can get it. Now, I know there are some folks that are really good at taking this, throwing it up in the air. Honestly, I don't think I would do that in my home kitchen because the flour would go everywhere. So I'm just going to kind of take that a little bit easy here in the kitchen, shape it out. As you can see, it's ready to go. But the trick that I like to do when you're doing pizzas is, first of all, get your oven preheated. It needs to be preheating for about 30 minutes. Make sure it's nice and preheated. I do have a baking stone in the oven, and that preheated with the oven itself so that it's nice and hot. Now I'm just going around on the pizza peel itself. I put the dough on the pizza peel. If you turn this, give it a little shake to make sure that slides easily, because you're going to take that and slide it right onto that hot baking stone in the oven. So now that we have that all flattened out and ready to go, I have the barbecue sauce that we just made earlier. Just kind of mix that, make sure we've got all the yumminess. So this is kind of like the tomato sauce that you would put on a regular pizza. I'm going to put that onto there, kind of swirl it around. That smells really yummy. Oh, I'm excited for you all to try this. You're going to love that barbecue sauce. Just kind of spread that around so we get a nice even coat on there. There we go. And once we get that on there, I'm going to take some cheese, and I've just shredded up whatever cheese I have. I know pizzas, you put mozzarella cheese on it, but honestly, use what you have at home. If you have cheddar, use cheddar. If you have something else, use it. It doesn't really matter. You don't have to go running off to the store and buy something for that matter. And so I just had some cheddar cheese. I had some mozzarella in there. And I'm just going to spread this on there. And this is going to kind of create our little glue for the chicken that we put onto it. And you can add olives, you can add whatever other toppings you want to this. That is just up to you. Me, I'm kind of a purist. We're just going to do barbecue sauce, cheese, and chicken on there. Shredded up chicken here. Now also, if you have really heavily seasoned chicken, just be aware of that when you choose what type of barbecue sauce to use on there. So you can use a rather mellower, so to speak, if that's such a word, on there with the chicken if it's highly seasoned or not. So it's just really up to you, however you'd like to do it. So let's put some of that onto there. You can at this point sprinkle some chicken seasoning on there if you've got some, favorite one that you like to use, or some Italian seasoning, whatever you'd like to. You could sprinkle it on there at that point. Let's kind of just make sure we've got all the holes in there. And this would be just fine to put into the oven, but what I like to do is take a little bit more cheese. There we go. And just kind of sprinkle that on there. I kind of consider the cheese like the glue that's going to hold everything together on there. And so that's kind of important. We'll just kind of sprinkle some of that cheese over the top of that. There we go. And now this is ready to go into the oven. Let's taste that cheese. This is a white cheddar. That's really good. Really good. And I do, in my older age, I like much stronger cheese. So I like sharp and white cheddar that's sharp cheese, things like that. So it's up to you, whatever you like. You can use mozzarella, any kind of cheese you want. Okay. Let's make sure that slides a little bit on there. It's having a little trouble, which is okay. This is good for you to see this, because all I do is I come into my catch-all utility drawer that I put all of my utensils in. Every house has one. And I'm going to use a spatula to help let that slide off of there onto the oven. So now all we have to do is go to the oven. I'm going to slide this out onto the baking sheet there, and then it's going to bake till it's nice and golden brown. Oh, it'll take about 15 minutes, so don't go away. We'll finish it up when I come back. You can find all of these complete recipes on my website, cookingwithchefbryan.com.
As summer comes into full swing, it's time to fire up the grill and treat your family to a special outdoor meal featuring everyone's favorite Klondike brand potatoes. Enjoy preparing one of our many chef-inspired recipes from the web, or create your own backyard culinary masterpiece using varieties from the full line of Klondike potatoes. Visit KlondikeBrands.com today for hundreds of recipe ideas and make your summers sizzle with Klondike Brands.
Welcome back. We're just finishing up this delicious barbecue chicken pizza. And it smells so good. To cut it up, get your pizza peel or a knife and just cut it. But when you cut a pizza, what you want to do is just kind of slam that down like this. See? And that'll cut through that edge. We'll just kind of turn that again. Oh, nice and crunchy, just the way I like that. There we go. We'll go one more there. We'll just kind of gently turn that, and then go one more through there. There we go. And how easy was that to use up all that extra chicken? I mean, isn't that the coolest thing in the world? I really do love that. You can serve this up. Voila. Look how yummy that looks. Now you can head on over to cookingwithchefbryan.com. The recipe's on the website, and you can grab that as well as hundreds and hundreds of other recipes for it. And I am on all the social media platforms, well, at least all the ones that I'm aware of, but there might be some other ones here. But you can find me on Instagram and Facebook and Pinterest. I do follow more closely on Instagram, Chef Bryan Woolley there, so you can find me there. Drop me a message, and as always, I appreciate you saying hi when you see me in the grocery store. I always love to hear your food stories, your successes, and the fun that you have. Well, I'm ready to dig into a piece here. Go grab the recipe, and you dig into a piece too. I'll see you all next time. You can find all of these complete recipes on my website, cookingwithchefbryan.com.